Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Right. Then we talk about batch request quick link. Today we are going to start with deployment process, SSD. SSD is all about service standard deployment. We'll talk about deployment. Along with that, we'll talk about patch and upgrades and all. Then we'll talk about logo change. Again, these chapters won't take much. I mean less than 10 minutes, I would say. I need somebody to share your screen when I ask. Now we can start with deployment. Can anyone have to explain what is deployment? Have you heard deployment phrase before? Operating the changes from one environment to the other environment. That's right. Why do we need to do that? That's why, ultimately, we can deploy the product to the production environment. When you deploy it stage by stage, the quality will improve and then, ultimately, you can deploy it to production. Right? Correct. Which means in real time, we will have multiple environment, right? At least 4 environment we will have. Developer environment, QA environment stage or production environment, right? First of all, deployment is all about pushing the code changes or pushing the new artifacts. Whatever we deploy, whatever we customize or created a new object, new artifacts, it needs to be pushed from one environment to another environment. That's what deployment. Here, you could see in every application, not only Salesforce, it could be ServiceNow Salesforce, any business application. Every application will have 4 environments. Developer environment, QA environment, QAT production environment. Now I'm talking about IAM application, guys. Whatever issues we are facing in the production environment, it needs to be replicated in dev environment first by developers. Maybe we have a business requirement where we want to introduce some new functionality, or maybe we want to enhance the existing functionality. Maybe we want to streamline the process. Everything needs to be performed in dev environment first, which means in production. Also, we are going to install Sailpoint. In dev environment also, we are going to install Sailpoint. First, we will validate everything in dev environment by developers. Maybe they can introduce a new artifact. They can customize the existing artifact, anything. Once everything looks good, then developer will deploy in QA environment. Deploy means whatever objects they are dealing with, whatever objects, artifacts they created, it needs to be pushed from dev to QA environment. Then QA team will validate everything. If everything looks good, then QA team will ask dev team to deploy once again to QA environment. In this environment, business will validate everything. If everything looks good on a particular day, the changes will be deployed in production environment. And on top of that, in QA, when QA engineer is going to perform the validation, QA engineer is responsible to document each and every steps, which means they are going to prepare a document where they will capture all these steps one by one. Because in production, if something went wrong, then the business will ask you a difference. Technically, we will have 4 environments. In all 4 environments, Sailpoint application will be there. As an architect, I'll ensure all environments should have similar data. Because whatever workflow rule application, whatever we are going to onboard dev environment, if you are facing any issue in production environment, the same issue is replicating dev environment as well. I'll try to ensure it should have similar data. When it comes to deployment, what are the different approaches we have to deploy? Basically, whatever objects you are having in dev environment, it can be export from dev and it can be import into QA. Then it can be export from dev. It can be import into UAT if it is an XMLL object. When it comes to export import, you guys already know. We have a IQ console. From there we can export import. Correct. In Sailpoint we have task also. In the plugin chapter, I'll walk you through how to export import. Or else if you are using Eclipse, we can export. We can deploy the code changes. Sometimes you are working on some customization where Java class needs to be built. jar file needs to be built. In such scenarios, war file will be created. When it comes to war file creation, we have 2 approaches. One automated way. We have application calls Jenkins or any other application. Using this application, we can build a war file automatic. If you want to build a war file manually, then we can follow any one of the approaches. Are we clear far? Are we clear? Shall I proceed further? Yes, Kish. But are we going to see a demo on this as well? Deployment, we need at least 2 environments, right? I won't be able to demonstrate. It's going to be theoretical. Consider I am having dev environment. I can export from here. Correct. Then the same objects will be available in your server. Then you can import from there. And we can consider your environment as a QA environment. That's possible. But I'll show you. As part of this SSD, I'll show you how to build this war file map. The same scenario. We will get the requirement from the business. Developer will work on this. In some MNC organization I have seen, if any requirement which take less than 100 hours to fulfill, then engineering team or administrator team will be responsible to work on that requirement. If it takes more than 100 hours, then developer will involve in that process. Once the dev team is fulfilled or prepared the artifacts, it needs to be deployed in QA environment. Then QA engineer will validate. Again, it will be deployed into UAT environment. UAT means user acceptance test. If everything looks good on a particular date, the artifacts will be deployed into production environment. But before we get into production, we have to follow a couple of steps. First thing, we need to create a ticket to track the entire deployment process. We will call it as change request. We have to create a change request from ServiceNow application. First step. Second, you have to prepare a document where all these step by step needs to be mentioned. At what time? Which team is going to involve in this deployment process? And what will be the backup plan? If something went wrong, what will be the revert? How do we revert the changes? Everything will be part of this document. Along with that, we have to get approval from SAPED. Change approval, board approval. We require. Once you prepare everything on a particular date, Usually deployment will happen out of business hours. They will try to schedule on a weekend. A deployment will happen usually on Friday night or Saturday morning. It may take a couple of hours. The first step in this deployment process, database team is going to inform. DB team will take a backup of the database and they will stop DB services. Sailpoint DB services. Second step, it will take usually 30 minutes. Then they will notify us. Then we are responsible to stop all the Apache contact services, which mean our application services. Whether you have 8 server, 18 server, it doesn't matter. You have to stop. Once you stop all these services, your application will be down. Obviously, you cannot import from UI. Is that right? Which means you cannot execute any task to export the object. You cannot import the file from global setting. Does that make sense what I am saying? Then obviously the other possible reason would be Eclipse. Using Eclipse, we can deploy the code changes. Or else we can use IQ also. Once your services are down, your application you cannot access from browser. But you can access Sailpoint application using IEQ also, which clearly indicates if your application services are down. Even though you can access Sailpoint application from IEQ also. Usually when I used to work as a developer, I used to import all the artifacts from IEQ. Maybe this deployment change is required. Some Java class deployment. We need to build a warp file. Whatever warp file we build, it needs to be deployed. Basically, we will take a backup of the existing warp file, which means the identity IEQ directory. I am saying inside application server, we will have one identity IEQ folder. We will take a backup of that folder and we will replace a new warp file. And once you start these services, it will be deployed automatically. Then, along with that, you can ask the DB team to start their services. That's it. This is how deployment will happen in real time. Once we follow these steps, the next 24 hours we are going to monitor everything. We will call it as post-deployment validation. We will try to submit one access request for a test user. In production environment, we cannot submit any request unnecessarily. We have to get an approval email, approval from the business. And we can submit a request for a test user. And we can validate request has been submitted successfully or not. Workflow has been called or not. Policy violation is getting triggered or not. We can validate. Then we will check test connection for critical application, such as HR application and all. Then we can monitor all the joiner mover lever event for next 24 hours. And all the task execution also. This is how deployment will happen in real time. Does that make sense? If we stop the DB service, how to import data in the server? Because all data is imported in the DB database. Correct. That is how to restore store sports DB team. Stop the communication with the server. We open the IAQ console. It's but VM part. That's a good question. This IAQ console part, that let's say if you want to import any object once the DB team start the services, then only we will import. Because of if I check they do this, these things, I stop the DB service, but I cannot open the IAQ console as well. No, you can. I'm facing this issue. That's why I'm saying that no. In real time I have seen. But if you have any object which needs to be import, once the DB team start the services, then only you can import your file into IAQ console. Yes, that is AB service. DB should be running state if you import any data because you Currently it is stored in DB. Anyway, you have these 4 approaches. Any one of the approaches you can follow, got it. Once go ahead. Rakesh. Right now we are installing Sailpoint. We have a new installation at work. The first approach we used was they used the war file, and they started doing user data aggregation, and they ran into an issue because we have a very specific it that ties the employee or the contractor to CISO layer, and that didn't come. They had to kind of rewrite the rules, and they migrated one rule. Now, obviously it's in its SIT, and there they have defects. Now we're doing like 7 rules, 8 rules, 2 workflows, that kind of, defect deployments. Now, yesterday, part of our approach to any kind of migration or defects, we do like to validate that. The change made it to the next instance. When we're doing a SQL, PLSQL, we go to the database. We do like a lookup. Now he has, we do a query to make sure that our changes are there, whatever it is, as part of this rule. We ran into this issue yesterday. The rules that we're migrating, how do we validate? Now he has like 7 rules and 3 workflows, and he's like opening each one up in the target instance and trying to see that my change made it. When you're using target instance, are you talking about other environment, other instance, other sale points from dev? Because when you say target, I will consider as a target application. Let's say the dev to ITCT. Just a minute. Sorry for the interruption. You have 7 rules. Along with it, you have a couple of workflows, correct changes, correct. How do I validate? I suggested the best way to validate was to go to the speed_rules table. And yes, you can go to speed_rule table, or else you can ask them to go to debug page. Then you can check whether it's a new artifact or existing artifact. If it is new one, you can refer the creator. Timestamp right. If it is existing one, then you can refer the modifier timestamp. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do artifact by artifact, which it gets cumbersome. Since he's working parallelly on defect resolution, we have a. That's the thing. The database. I was saying, do speed rules and look at the modified date. But we realized yesterday modified is an epoch format, correct? You can write some query. You can convert it to human timestamp, correct? That's the issue I ran into yesterday. I converted it in MySQL, but we don't use MySQL. See, MySQL has a pretty straightforward Unix timestamp or some function. It worked fine when I tried to try it in SQL. There's some logic to it, There it goes to When 1970, and then you add many number of days. That date I got is, the correct date should be 12/2/2024. The SQL gave me a date of 11/27/2024, like 5 days off. I want to know if you have any function for PLSQL now. We don't have any other option to check. You have to rely on. You have to check with bbit or else. One more question. Go ahead. Sailpoint need to create new database. Also need many table and many columns. How to approach to the database team? Need to get a pretty database. We need to save the each table, each column information with the db. No. When you remember, in the installation we had a file called createidentitytable.mysql something. It's a script that is for a Sailpoint. It's a sample script, right? Yes, we say the beat to them. Suppose I'm a D beat. You are from the Sailpoint, guys. You need to approach me. My 9-year database for the deployment is a Sailpoint how to operate. Approach to me. First of all, when it comes to your asking in the deployment, how we are supposed to communicate with you, right? Because of a Sailpoint in database, to database. In the many columns, many tables need to create it. But if I reach out to the DB team, they will ask me which table need to you create it. How many column you need to create it, that you have to given them. Let's say if you are dealing with identity, let's take an example. You remember, right? We talk about attribute creation, extended attribute creation. Whenever we are going to introduce a new attribute, we will map the value from her application or any target system, right? It depends on the attribute belongs to object. Then those value will be stored in database also, correct, right? What will you do? If you are creating attribute related to identity, then you have to ask database team. We need to make some changes in the identity table and you have to add this column name. Maybe you are adding an attribute called department. Then you have to add a column in the DB. You have to inform them. Say point team has to approach DB to create a column. By experience, only you will come to know which object. Or else I would say, if you are going to open debug page, whatever object you are able to view, the same object you can add. In front of every object, you can add speed underscore. 80% of the table name and object name will be matched. You got it what I'm saying? But my case is the first deployment. First deployment we are deploying in the environment. In that case, we will have to reach a DB. We need to create a free database. In that case, always because of I am sorry. Sorry, if you don't mind, can you just repeat last 2 sentences what you just said? Suppose I am deploying fresh Sailpoint environment in the organization. DB may different. Every day, every 8 environment. I will have to reach out to them. I need a database for install the Sailpoint. The BP will ask me question, how many database need to create it? How many table you need to create it? How many columns you need to create it? I need to view each column are correct, each table name due to them. That's why you are having this script, right? We will have to save that script. Yes, exactly. Maybe you want to introduce new tables, you can modify it. Maybe you can ask DBT to then create a table from therein. We have a sample script you can customize as per your business required. It's generally we share this here. Yes, the same script which I'm highlighting here. My question is there because of if we share, our nets not share. You got an answer right. Yes, we share this script for the database team. But if you remember, I have clearly mentioned when it comes to installation as a Sailpoint engineer, administrator and a developer. Also, we won't involve PMO team, M team. Basically, they will manage everything from therein. Basically, what I'm trying to do. If you're doing this infrastructure team, they will take care of this activity. But one more question is here, if we use this script, it use a default username, password, give these things. Oh, got it. I will check my site. These things. No, you are asking what will be the credential we can modify in this script. Or else DB, You can ask DB team to reset the password username. They will do it because of FAQ property. We give the information of the DB, but there is showed the encrypted password. We can give the simple password, is there not? We can give just a minute. I'll open a property file also. I got. But anyway, yesterday we learned right how to encrypt the password. Yes, I have just general question because of we give the only encrypted password are correct. We will give encrypted password only. There is a password. That's why this is correct here. You could see this is encrypted password for identity ek database. That is my question, which is its. I hope you guys are clear about deployment. Along with that, I will show you. When it comes to building your WAR file, we need an application called Jenkins or any other advanced tool which I don't have. I won't be able to show you. But it's very easy way to build a WAR file. But let's say if you don't have any automation tool, if you want to build a WAR file manually, first thing you have to ensure SESP needs to be configured. Just a minute, I move it somewhere. When you open your repository or SSB, it will look like this. Here you have to concentrate on two folders. One is build folder, another one is source folder. Whatever changes artifacts you built from your end, it needs to be placed under the source folder. It could be jar file, it could be XML object, it could be anything. You have to keep it under source folder because the moment you started building WAR file, the existing WAR in the existing power file, that new artifacts, whatever you place under source, it will get added. Along with that, we have a build WAR file, which means it's existing WAR file. We have to clean this also. First, you have to access command from using this address file. Then you have to type fill clean. This command will help you to clean the existing bin folder, which means the existing WAR file, extracted version of WAR file. Everything will be deleted. Once it deleted, you cannot find. Build folder will be deleted. Build successful, which means build file has been deleted. Now it's been removed. Between base and config, we had build folder. Now it's been removed. Build clean is the one command which will help you to clean the existing WAR file from the directory. Second, just add the command called build WAR. It will help you to build the WAR file. That's it. It's pretty easy when it comes to building warfare manually, but you have to remember two folders. One is source, other one is build folder. Now it's not there. It will take a couple of minutes to build a warfare. This is how we can build a warfare map. Any question? But it's a legacy process. We are not following this in. But Rakesh, generally speaking, most of the projects will have Jenkins. For building water, 100% of the product will have Jenkins. Got. I think 7-8 years back, we used to follow this method to build a warfare. We are having Jenkins everywhere. We are having advanced tool. When it comes to deployment, we are not going to whatever process we discussed here, like we have to export, import. We have to use a console. We are not following this anymore. Maybe you can refer Urban Code Deploy. This is one of the tools. Are you guys familiar with this tool, Urban Code Deploying? Starting the service, stopping the services, moving the code changes. I'm building a war file. Everything will be taken care of by this tool itself. Just as an engineer, we will involve in the post-deployment validation process. That's it. That is a part of DevOps, is it? Yes. That's all about deployment, guys. If you have any question, feel free to ask, or else we can proceed to the next chapter. Anyway, it will take couple of minutes. After that, I'll show you any question from deployment. Now let's talk about patch and upgrades. Maybe before that, let's talk about patch and upgrade. What is the difference between patch and upgrade? Can somebody explain what is patch? What is upgrade? Anyone quickly? Upgrade is like version upgrade from 8.1 or 2, like that. The existing version only. We are like any fixes, we are doing it on that. Now upgrade also, we can fix the issue right. And what it is the difference between patch and upgrade? When it comes to purpose, both are different. Patch can be used to fix some specific issue. There are some bugs, security vulnerabilities. It needs to be fixed. Then we can depend on patch. When it comes to upgrade, product team, planning to introduce a new feature or new functionality, or maybe they are trying to implement some major changes. In such scenarios, upgrade will be released. Patch can be released whenever there is a requirement, and it could be more often. But upgrade it's going to be scheduled. Scheduled first of all, and it's more planned, I would say. And when it comes to patch just couple of hours, we need to down Sailpoint application. The minimal downtime, I would say, when it comes to upgrade, it's significant downtime we may require. Patch, it can be deployed very easily. When it comes to upgrade, will take more time because the upgrade may affect that existing customization, existing functionality. We have to spend more time when it comes to upgrade. That's the difference between patch and upgrade. When it comes to patch, Sailpoint product will provide .jar file. When it comes to upgrade, Sailpoint team will provide .war file. That's one more major difference. Let's say now you are using 8.2 version, you want to upgrade. The latest version is 8.4. Do you think from 8.8 to 8.4 you can directly upgrade? The answer would be no. We have to upgrade step in the sequential order 8.2 to 8.1, 8.1 to 8.2, 8.2 to 8.3, then 8.4. This is how upgrade will work. And when it comes to patch, the same scenario. We are using 8.2. We want to apply the latest patch. Maybe the latest patch is P5, which means before that they released P1, P2, P4, P5. We can directly apply whatever patch you require. There is no. We can jump directly one into another, 1 into 1 into 1 to 1 into 1 into 1 to 1 into 1. But when it comes to upgrade, you have to follow the sequence order. I hope you guys are clear the difference between patch and upgrade. Any question? If yes, can someone share your screen? I will walk you through how we can perform this patch and upgrades both. I think I'll perform any one. You can try with other one. Is that clear the difference between patch and upgrade? Guys, feel free to ask if you have any questions. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here. You could see at 7:38, which been 2 minutes back again, build folder has been created and here we are having 3 directory. One is going to be war file. It's been created. Second one, extracted version of the war file. Also it's there and whatever Java classes we introduce, it will be there. That's it. This is how war file will be built. Any of the process is not completed, but you can see the folder has been created along with that war file and extracted version of war file. This is how we can build it. Go ahead and check your latest work. I mean the version of your Sailpoint application. I'll take control. I'll go to Sailpoint 8.2. No, oh then I won't be able to do a 4 barbinos and stuff. I'll take control now. Yes, can you approve? First, we will check which version you are using. If you want to check any version, you have to navigate to debug page. Then click on trench icon. Go to about. From here we can check. You are using 8.1 version, correct. Now we have a requirement from business. This Sailpoint application needs to be upgraded. As I said, we cannot directly upgrade from 8.1 to 8.4. We have to go in the sequential order. Now we have to upgrade to 8.2 first. Can we navigate to source data? First, I'll check whether you have 8.2 version war file or not. Now here it's there. You are having 8.2 version war file then. The first step, if you want to upgrade this product, you have to ask a DB team to take the database backup. First step. Second step, you have to take a backup of your Sailpoint directory. But before that, I'll ensure we have to stop these services. We have to stop Apache Tomcat services. Can you stop these services? Stop. Right-click Stop. First step, DB team has to take a backup from there, which means database backup. Sailpoint database backup needs to be taken. Second step, we are going to stop Apache Tomcat services. Can you minimize this? Max Arab close. Third step, we will go ahead and we'll take a backup of our directory, Sailpoint directory. Sailpoint directory will be available under Application Server. Application Server. Now we are having identity EQ war file. I will move it here and I'll take a backup option. If before taking backup, you have to ensure the services needs to be stopped. That's it. Now I have taken a backup. The next step, I'm going to deploy the new war file, which means 8.2 version war file under this identity EQ directory. The war file, I can get it from here, just copy and we can place over here. Now, this war file needs to be deployed. Can we start the services now or do we have any other approach to deploy this work manually? Guys, be fast, any idea? In the installation, you might have seen right. Once we place the war file, it will be deployed automatically. But what about now? Because the services are stopped, you can extract a war file and feed here. We have updated the 8.2 version war file here, correct? But we need to extract the data from this, correct? How do we extract this? If the services are running, it will extract automatically, you would say. If it is deployment, also just place the war file. Once you start the services, it will be deployed, correct? But we are working on upgrade. It's similar to deployment, but not exactly. Here, you need to know how to extract this war file manually. Just launch command prompt using this bar. Type char-xvf- the file name and hit enter. That's it. War file will be deployed manually. That's it. We deployed 8.2 version Sailpoint. Let it run. Here I could see it's deployed. The third step, this latest version would have involved some new table, would have created a new table in the database, or it requires some new additional column or anything. Whatever changes has been done in the database level, even that changes also needs to be reflected in DB. For that we have a upgrade script, upgrade edil script. Since ours is MySQL server, we can execute this. Again, you have to launch MySQL command line. Type MySQL-u root-p. Oh, can you type the password? Is it root? And can you type enter? Just you have to execute upgrade script. Again, this activity will be done by DB team. Whatever new table column, whatever has been added in Sailpoint database, these changes also needs to be reflected. First step, we request DB team to take the database backup. Second, we stop the services, our application services. Third, we have take a backup of existing directory, Sailpoint application directory. Fourth step, we deploy the war file manually. Fifth step, we request the DB team to execute the script. Finally, we can apply echo upgrade from our end. You have to navigate to bin directory. Then you can just use the command called echo upgrade. Sailpoint version will be upgrade from 8.1 to 8.2. This is how upgrade will work in real time. Now I have a question. We replaced the water file, new version water file, right? What about those objects which we onboarded like application identity? What will happen with that anyone? It's come from database, no need to perform any additional step, right? If a database is pointed correctly. I think we did not, because of finding it was no need to offer many additional steps. But we deploy loopback connector war file. You guys, sorry, loopback connector, right? You remember, but we replace the entire warfare. What will happen? Again, you have to place the connector. You don't. I mean, whatever custom connector we build, we have to ensure it needs to be deployed once again. Anyhow, this is how deployment will happen in real upgrade will happen in real time, and you can follow the same step when it comes to patch also. But instead of war file, we will deploy jar file. That's it. That's the only difference. And if I'm not wrong, already I have prepared one document also. You can follow that to apply patch, upgrade and all. Now let me show you that. In the latest one you can find upgrade document also will be there. Now upgrade is successful. We can request DB team to start their services as well as we can start our services. Also, can you start a patch Tomcat services and try to access the Sailpoint application? Now go to browser. No, don't open from here. Open a new tab. Try to access the Sailpoint application. Equal upgrade did not make changes. This file in the identity var file, it's making changes on database on I. You could, it might. No, it's not possible. The second approach. What you said, we are not going to replace the WAR file. We will try to make changes in the DB directly. DB directly, which is impossible. DB directly. Suppose we have added the extra column in the DB. No, it's not about only column. And all right, because the latest version, what the Sailpoint product team, they are trying to introduce. We are not sure, we are not aware. Also correct, and they are trying to build a lot of things, and inside the WAR file, a lot of class files, a lot of things will be there. We cannot update each and everything inside DB, right? It's just existing database. Need to upgrade it. By this एक console file, I can upgrade file that. All changes happen in the DB, not application server. No, application server also will be upgraded. You remember in the one version we are in, let's say hypothetically I'm saying in 8.22 version where we didn't have loopback connector, correct? We deployed manually. Let's say in the next version they include loopback connector also. You got it what I'm saying? In that you got it what I'm saying? Or I am good at your Python. Because of a WAR file is applicable on the application server. All feature will be come out. But I upgrade a file will be upgraded to database, existing database. Now we can go ahead. We can navigate to debug page and we can check it from there. What is the latest version? Sorry, what is the current version we have? Now we are having 8.2 version. When we checked last time it was 8.1. Now product got upgraded to 8.2. That's it. This is how upgrade will happen in real time. Got it? You can follow the same step in your machine to upgrade the product. If you need patch files, you can get it from Sailpoint Compass community portal. You can get it from there. That's all about patch and upgrade. Let's go to plugin. What is plugin? Any one of you added functionality from an external tool that you can. You can incorporate that in your application. Correct. But not exactly from external tool. Let's say we need to customize the existing functionality, which is possible. We can do it as part of deployment process, but we are planning to add a new functionality from external. Let's take an example in this browser. If this browser has been built, it's a Chrome browser. It's built by Google. Right now, whatever additional functionality we are looking for, we have an option to build the extension. Similarly, for Sailpoint application or any other software, if you would like to introduce new functionality without touching the core code of the product, that's what extension, that's what plugin. In Sailpoint also same scenario. Maybe you know in the top, when we were discussing about task, I said, right, we have a limitation when it comes to export import task because the data export task will help you to export only limited object. You cannot export all the object from Sailpoint, right? But now we have a requirement, we need to export all type of object. For that, Sailpoint engineer team or any other developer from other organization, they would have built one plugin. That plugin will ensure all these export process can be done easily from Sailpoint. Already, I have provided you one sample plugin. And one more thing, when it comes to plugin deployment, plugin development, it's a hardcore developer activity. I have given you a couple of sample plugin. Just you can learn how to deploy into Sailpoint. Just navigate to source data directory. From there, you can find this plugin. Go to source data. Object Exporter is one of the plugin. Then you can find Application Health plugin. Deploy, just copy parents' downloads. I have placed the plugin over here. Just click on New Task. And here you could say Target Aggregation is the last template. Now I am going to introduce a new plugin in this system. Just drag and drop or just click on New and select the file. The plugin will be deployed. If you are going to open the plugin, jar file will be there, basically Java class file. Now the plugin has been installed successfully. Now you can go to task. Go to new task. Here you could see after target aggregation, we are having one more template called XML Object Export because of plugin. Now I am going to create a new task. Now using this task, there is no limitation. I can export all the objects and I can consider this task to export. Which means the purpose could be for archival, the purpose could be for deployment, anything. Now I'm going to mention whatever objects I'm going to export. It should be available under C drive backup folder and you guys are familiar with created value, it value, modified value. If you are going to check this box, all the timestamp will be removed. And which object we want to export as of now? I want to export application. I want export rule everything and maybe you have some specific file name which needs to be export. Whenever the file name is going to match with this, then it needs to be export. You can have that condition as well. One question, sorry, go ahead. You are base path. You said C backup. That's our local drive when it's on the server. We use a relative path. Yes, you can mention the server name. It will be / the server name / something will be there. Got it? Maybe whatever objects has been created or modified after this timestamp. Maybe as a developer, we will use this field very often. After last deployment, whatever changes we turn it in the system, only those object needs to be exported. Then what will be the naming format of the option you have to use? You have to follow the same command. The naming format is going to be first, we have to type the class, then name of the object and the format is going to be .xm. That's it. Just execute the task. It will ensure whatever classes you have mentioned, the object which you want to export, it will get export. Toto to application 33 rule has been exported totally 35 objects. Now you can go to C drive and you can come from the same. The folder has been created. I could see XML object. You can consider this as an archive, one archive artifacts, or you can copy paste. You can email it to the test environment or else maybe directly you can export into the test environment or the particular environment. Then from there you can import the test environment. Wherever I work, usually I'll prefer to deploy this plugin. That's all about plugin. You have one more plugin. Just try to implement and try to check that. That's all about plugin, guys. Any question, any one of you? Correct, it's clear then. Now we'll perform on last step. I think we talk about plugin patch, upgrade and all right. Let's say you got a requirement to retire any one of this application. I'll do one thing. I'll take a backup of track. Oh, already we take a backup of this application, right? We have a backup under C drive. Now we got a requirement to retire these applications. For your learning, for you, I would like to simplify the process. I'll delete one application forcefully. You know how to delete forcefully from debug page, or you can use IC console. Now we have only one application. It could be her, it could be non-her, anything, any target system. You need to retire this application following the necessary steps. Always remember, once you get a requirement from business to decommission any application, basically the application is going to be decommissioned. In the future, we have to ensure the application needs to be kept in a maintenance window. You have to open the respective application and you have to keep this application in the maintenance window, which means once you enable this maintenance checkbox, Sailpoint cannot aggregate the data from this application and from Sailpoint. If somebody is going to submit request to get this application access, Sailpoint will skip because the application is in the maintenance window. Maybe you can go ahead and execute the task. You will come to go. The task will end it with warning because the application is in the maintenance window. Then you can keep this application, for there is no limitation, time limitation. You can keep it in the maintenance window unless you get further update from the application team. Now second step. First step, you need to keep the application in the maintenance window. Second step, you have to ask application team to clean up their source data. Which means I hope you keep read file here, right here. I'll take the backup of this file. Now you have to ask application team to clean up their source data because we don't have access. We cannot perform the cleanup. We have to educate them. We have to instruct them. They should not remove the column name only. They have to remove user data, group data. Everything from there in second step is done. Third step, whatever account has been deleted here, it needs to be removed from Sailpoint as well. What do we do basically? Basically, these account needs to be removed. Basically, these account needs to be removed from here. Anyone? We got a requirement to retire an application. First step, we keep that application in the maintenance window. Second step, we have to check with application team and ask them to clean up their source data. Third step, it needs to be removed from Sailpoint as well. What will you do? You know you can aggregate the data that whatever account has been deleted, it will be removed from Sailpoint. But application in the maintenance window, you have to uncheck for a moment quickly. Then you can go ahead and execute the task that whatever account has been deleted in the target end, it will be removed from Sailpoint as well. This is going to be the third step to retire an application. As of now, I am deleting only user account, but in real time, group data also needs to be removed. Group means entitlement data, a user account entitlement. Everything needs to be removed. Now fix6upon has been deleted. Now go to the respective application, go to accounts, and you can confirm yes, everything has been deleted. Similarly, you can verify entitlement. Then you can take a backup of this application. You know already, we have a backup using this plugin, or maybe we can use IC console to export this object. Then we can try to delete from Y. If any object is associated with this application, it will shown over here. It could be work item, it could be scorecard, it could be anything. Now, this item also needs to be removed. Every application will have one unique scorecard. Go to debug page, go to application scorecard and try to delete it from here. Yes, it's been deleted now. Now just go ahead and delete. This application will be deleted from here. This is how we have to retire an application from cell phone properly. Any question? Rima Sabajanvi Raj. I guess I'm good for mine. Then consider guys, we got this archive data. I mean, we have these two artifacts, right? The two applications we are having. Maybe this application has been exported from dev environment and this is what Kai environment. Consider this is Kai environment. Now developer can log in into the system. Usually we won't do that. But let's say developer can log in into this environment and they can import this file. This could be one of the way of deploying an application one by one. They can import this. One application has been deployed. Now I'm going to deploy one more application. That's it. Along with that, we have to create a task or we have to export the task. We have to import everything. Here you could see, application is there correct. Just go ahead and need the test connection. Before that, we have to update something. We have to update the credential and all. Test connection failed one. Any one of you? Why Sail1 is not able to trade the data? Because it's empty, because it's been already deleted. Now we can replace with a new file, I think. You can do that. That's all about application retirement process. Guys, if you have any question, feel free to ask now. I'll clarify any question. Then that's it. That's it for today. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.